I'm all set.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
All right, we're ready to roll here.
Let's do it.
All right.
Heyo! Welcome to Sports Center with Jay and Dan, brought to you by Tim Hortons. We've got a busy one. The complete NHL Stanley Cup playoff story is coming up, but we're going to begin with basketball. I'm Dan, he's Jay. As the Toronto Raptors finally played Game 2 of their series, it's been a while. It was Game 1 on Saturday?
Yeah, it was on Saturday, and now they're going to have a long break until Game 3. But Game 2 is important because the Raps lost Game 1, and Kyle Lowry did not have a great start to this series, as does tend to be the case with Kyle Lowry. He was 0 for 7 in Game 1, looking for his first point of the series, makes the free throw. Raptors fans are pumped up. Lowry breaks the 0 for 7 slump. More from Lowry in the second. The give and go with Marc Gasol. This is a thing of beauty. Gasol passing like a young Arvydas Sabonis. Lowry takes a hard fall. He's okay. Stifling D from the Raps. Gasol, again the steal, gets it to Lowry, to Spicy P. Pascal Siakam. Orlando shot just 32% in the first half. Then just before the half, Lowry spinning around former Raptor Terrence Ross. We're jumping to the third quarter. Kawhi Leonard had a massive game in this one. Gasol finds him for the lob, off glass, and the foul. Later, Kawhi splitting the D. Started the game 11 for 13. Lowry continuing to make an impact. The strip on Evan Fournier. Siakam's got it. He'll lay in 2 of his 19. Lowry 7 assists. The Raptors are up by 21. Back to Kawhi. He had 17 of his 37 points in the third quarter. Toronto is up 24 after 3. Now, remember this in Game 1? Lowry hit Michael Carter-Williams in the face. Bloody nose. Had to leave the game. Obviously upset. Fourth quarter, Carter-Williams, bottom of your screen, elbows Lowry. Maybe a little revenge, given a technical foul. Raptors win by 29, their largest playoff win in franchise history. Lowry, 22 points on 8 of 13 shooting after not scoring a single point in the first game against Orlando. As Dan mentioned, big break now. Game 3 goes Friday in Orlando.
On the Tuesday night playoffs in the NHL, there was the potential that 2 series could end in sweeps, but not in St. Louis. Jets ensured that would not happen with a win in Game 3. Home team, they've lost every single game of this series, and if that trend continued Tuesday night, Winnipeg and St. Louis would be tied at 2 games apiece. The ever-critical Game 4. Winnipeg have won 7 of their last 8 games in St. Louis. That includes the playoffs, outscoring the Blues 36-17. First period. Braden Shen. Big hit on Ben Sherratt. Delayed penalty on St. Louis. And Sherratt is stopped by Jordan Binnington, who gave up 6 goals in Game 3. Opening minute of the second, Tyler Bozak to Patty Maroon. Hits the goalpost. This game remains 0-0. Jets 2-on-1. Brandon Tanev. Stopped by Binnington. Tanev sent in alone. Tanev. Great chance. And Binnington got just enough as the puck goes just high in the net. Remains 0-0. Final minute of the period. Patrick Maroon intercepts the Jacob Trouba pass. Joel Edmondson to Robert Thomas. Connor Hellebuyck, huge save. He made 24 stops through 2. Through 40 minutes, no goals on the board. Tarasenko with his second of the series as the Blues finally get the first goal. Jets with the 2-on-1. Mark Scheifele with Kyle Connor. Scheifele stopped by Binnington. Scheifele to Connor, back to Scheifele. Look at that tip. His second of the series, ties the game at 2, and they have just completed regulation. They're going overtime. So stick with us. We'll entertain you during the intermission. And plus, as we always mention, these games are not televised in Canada.
No, and it's strange to think that, and it's an oversight certainly by the National Hockey League, but this is the country we live in, and this is the hand we've been dealt.
That third period of this one was amazing, if you got a chance to see it, which we do because we have a closed circuit TV that gives us the feed and us only. The road team, as mentioned, won all 3 games in this series. The team scoring first is 1-2 in the series. It's a stat we didn't need. Sorry, Hound Dog. I'm glad you got it for us, but it means nothing to me. And Mark Scheifele, 12 goals in his last 10 road games. Also, Patty Laine looking to become the 4th player in the last 7 years to score goals in their first 4 games of a postseason. So if he scores the overtime winner, that's the only way he can continue that. Continues that. Okay.
On Tuesday, Tampa was on the verge of being swept in the first round by Columbus, which would be arguably the biggest upset in Stanley Cup playoff history. But going in, some people still had faith. The Lightning are in trouble.
They are.
I still think they're going to win this series. Mark my words, the Lightning are going to win this series. Nonetheless, Blue Jackets fans, anxious to see their team win their first ever playoff series, were told to keep their brooms in their broom closet. So here we go. Game 4. Columbus looking for their first playoff series win in franchise history. First period. We're less than 3 minutes in. Alexander Texier called up the second last game of the regular season, opens the scoring. Moments later, Oliver Bjorkstrand misses the net. Pierre-Luc Dubois banks it in. What a start for the Jackets. 2 goals, 3 shots. The cannons were firing. Bolts down 2-0 less than 4 minutes in. That's a very extreme close-up still in the first. Nikita Kucherov to Steven Stamkos. Kucherov suspended for Game 3. Stamkos dekes Zach Werenski, buries it past Sergei Bobrovsky. Cuts the lead to 1. Still a 1-goal game in the second. Tampa power play. Braden Point buries the backhand. All 3 of Tampa's regular season leaders have their first points of the series. We're tied at 3. Are the Lightning back in this thing? No. Bjorkstrand again. 4-3 Columbus. Blue Jackets back up by 1 heading to the third. Bobrovsky! Just over 10 to play in the third. JT Miller fakes, finds the point in front, or finds point in front. Bobrovsky shuts the door. What a save! Sergei Bobrovsky! Getting it done! Probably leaving at the end of the season. Preserves the 1-goal lead. Final 2 minutes. Tampa's net is empty. Season on the line.
He's got it on the far wall. Loose puck and coming in is Panarin. He can't get there. And then Stamkos cuffs it up. There's a score! Oh, bake me a big loaf bread, man. And there's no bigger loaf of bread that has been baked this year than that one.
The Blue Jackets stun the President's Trophy winners in 4 games, advancing to the second round. That is the cheesiest handshake ever from Panarin. Second round for the first time in franchise history. Yeah, that's an understatement. The top teams of the 4 major sports in the regular season, they've all failed to win a title that season, but this is truly unique. Tampa, the 5th team to have the best record in the regular season and then be swept in the opening round, but they're the first since the 1938 Boston Bruins. And by the way, they're the first President's Trophy winner to be swept at any point since the 96 Red Wings, but that was in the Cup final against New Jersey. Speaking of potential sweeps, the Islanders on the verge of sweeping Crosby and the Pens in Pittsburgh. Sidney Crosby, no points in the series so far, but it actually didn't last long. 35 seconds in, Crosby to Jake Gensel, first of the postseason. And the Pens have the lead. The lead, however, was short-lived. Just over a minute and a half later, it is friend of SportsCenter with Jay and Dan, Jordan Eberle, takes the lead from Matthew Barzal. Eberle scored in all 4 games of this series. Edmonton fans wondering where this offense was back in the postseason for them a few years ago. Isles keep coming late in the first. Josh Bailey to Brock Nelson. He's got his third of the playoffs. Nelson and Eberle, more goals in this series than the Penguins have as an entire team. Back to Crosby. Second period power play. Wide open cage. Hits the post! Then off the draw, Casey Zizekas in the testicles. Sid didn't like that. Sid didn't like that at all. Robin Leonard, 9th, 51 save percentage in this series. Patty Hornquist trying to get under his skin, pushing, shoving. Hornquist wants to drop the gloves with Robin Leonard. Hornquist gets the only penalty on the play. Pens have 20 minutes left to save their season. Man advantage, third period, down 1. Phil Kessel, open net. This doesn't go in. Ow! Scott Mayfield, 2 big blocks, one on Kessel, one on Gensel. The Isles get their first sweep since 1983. Oh, sad Mario is never a good thing to see. Barry Trotz eliminates Pittsburgh for the second straight year.
After the break, the NBA Western playoff matchups have been fun. Could the Thunder and Nuggets rebound to even up their respective series? Oh, we've got those highlights next.
You're watching Jay and Dan on TSN. Hope you're having a great morning. Spurs and Nuggets. Jamal Murray, Canadian, trying to erase the tough shooting performance in Game 1. Opening quarter, Murray, no. He missed his first 8 shots of the game. Second quarter, DeMar DeRozan. 2 of his 17 first-half points. The Spurs led the Nuggets by 10 at the break. We're jumping all the way to the 4th now. Murray, again, Canadian. Tough shot. That goes. Crowd's starting to feel it. Murray keeps coming. 4-point. Make it a 6-point Denver lead. Moments later, San Antonio turns it over. Murray again for 3. Went 8 of 9 in the 4th quarter. Had a team-high 24 points. Nuggets even their series with San Antonio.
Game 2, Thunder Blazers. Paul George shot 33% from the field in Game 1. Second quarter, George spins, gets the tough layup to go. George second in the league in scoring. George with the crossover, nails the jumper. Maurice Harkless went flying. George, who dealt with shoulder issues all season, he's got that, what is it called, kinetic tape? I don't know.
Looks like duct tape.
He's got duct tape on his shoulder. 9 seconds of the half. David Lillard finds C.J. McCollum for the triple at the buzzer. Trailblazers, they lead third quarter. How about all that basketballs?
That was really fun start to the show, for sure. Still can't get over Tampa.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. Couldn't win a single game.
And hopefully we're going to have a clip. Something happened in that Tampa game that I don't know if you noticed.
Oh.
It happened with someone getting kicked next to a cannon.
All right, we look forward to that. That's foreshadowing from Dan. First, we must mention that the LA Kings have hired Todd McClellan as their new head coach. He's signed a 5-year deal, and according to our hockey insider Pierre LeBrun, it's worth around $25 million, depending on bonuses. Basically the same deal Alain Vigneault signed with the Flyers on Monday. McClellan's coached 11 seasons, was fired by Edmonton this past season.
Guess what? LA is going to be the 3rd Pacific Division team he coaches.
Yeah, I will say this. I think a lot of Edmonton fans will agree. He got a raw deal this year. Good coach. Probably should have been the GM that was fired. And LA got a good one. LA got a good one.
Mitch Marner, he played hero Monday in the Leafs 3-2 win over Boston. Marner ranked 10th on the Leafs in blocked shots during the regular season. On Monday, came up with a couple of huge ones late. And the 21-year-old didn't just block the shots, he literally stared them down.
I mean, there's dentists for a reason, so whatever. Lucky enough it didn't hit me in the face.
Did we get the cannon shot?
It could have been a tough result if it did, but like I said, there's dentists for a reason. But, I mean, I was already down there. I was right in front of him. I knew if it got in there, it was going to be kind of a tough shot for Freddie to save. It was going to be low and hard, and I didn't know what could have happened, so I just tried to sprawl out as much as possible, put my arms out. And
If the Canadian Dental Association is looking for a new slogan, "There's dentists for a reason" would be a pretty good one.
And Sign Marner, he's already the face of insurance.
Yeah, and he's
the
got
face of
the
dentistry.
Apple, the iPhone stuff. And
He doesn't even need to sign for big money.
I'm sure there's a sitcom in the works. Nate McKinnon has averaged over a point a game in his playoff career. He added to that Monday 2 goals and an assist in Colorado's 6-2 win over Calgary. Flames are finding out once McKinnon's speed starts to take over the game, it is almost impossible to stop him.
You got to take away his speed. I think make him stop whenever you can, especially through the neutral zone. I think obviously he's one of the best players in the league for a reason, but his game is a speed game, and he's been able to get through the neutral zone and get a lot of chances off the rush, it feels like, in the last couple. So we got to eliminate that for sure.
Second game he started to take over, and yesterday he was, he was all world. You have to manage the puck in the offensive zone. You have to make sure 100% you have a guy like a forward high, and you have to have good gaps, and you have to do a good job angling him, because if he gets speed, or if he gets a little momentum going, he has the ability to hook off, hit the guys late coming in. And you saw that play he made to McCarr yesterday, and their D are also doing a good job jumping on the rush when they're out there with him, because they know he can find them. So it's a tough task, but one we're up to.
I don't know what that one reporter was doing with the iPhone, but it was distracting. It was.
I just want Matthew Tkachuk to go full-time mutton chops, like full-on Neil Young circa 1971, all year round.
Looked like they were staying in a nice Denver Marriott.
Did I say circa or circla?
Circla? Andrei Svechnikov expected to miss Game 4 against the Caps to be knocked out by Alex Ovechkin in Game 3. Coach Rod Brind'Amour was critical of the exchange Monday night. Ovi's last fight came in 2010.
When you don't see Rod Brind'Amour's eyes, he's very mysterious, like the Emperor in Star Wars.
I mentioned that cannon and the kick. We found it. Let's take a peek. Oh, I guess maybe that's part of their thing that they do every game. I didn't know they kick people too.
Seems strange. I don't know if everyone's fully appreciating it in the building. Is that just for the two of them? Hey, I'll just kick you in the nuts. When the cannon goes off,
sure,
right? And the other guy's like, okay.
I hope there's lots of goals tonight.
As we told you earlier, prior to Tuesday's game between the Blue Jackets and Lightning in Columbus, Nationwide Arena announced through Twitter that due to safety concerns, fans could not bring brooms into the arena for the game. Columbus is not the only team banning fans from bringing certain objects in. Bans have been happening all over the playoffs, like, for example, in Boston, where TD Garden officials warned fans that no one is allowed to bring in Nazem Kadri. He is, in fact, suspended for the rest of round 1.
The San Jose Sharks, they've asked fans that they no longer bring full-grown great white sharks into the building. These sharks need to be in water to live, and they're kind of tired of cleaning up to see sharks underneath the seats after games. It's messy.
And finally, Nassau Coliseum, they're not banning anything. Instead, they're asking Islander fans to please bring their own toilet paper. Nassau Coliseum has run out of toilet paper.
Didn't know they had the troughs there.
Yeah, good old troughs.
Problem with troughs, a lot of splashback.
A lot of splashback, but it really changes you.
Janny's coming up.
Time, our favorite and least favorite plays from Monday in sports. We just talked about this one. Byron Buxton hits one deep to the left field corner in Minnesota. Beautiful play, Teoscar Hernandez, Freddie Galvis to Danny Jansen, and CJ Crone is out, and the game is over. Way to go, Blue Jays.
Yadi Molina, grounder. Mike Moustakas. And Orlando Arcia turned the incredible double play.
That was nice.
The Lightning got swept, but Steven Stamkos had a nice goal.
That's something.
Yeah, That's something.
Not sure that's consolation. Chris Bryant in this Cubs-Marlins game. Daniel Descalso looking to tag in advance. Isaac Galloway, a laser, an absolute laser from right field to third base, and he's out.
Final minute of the first. Shea Theodore walks around Brent Burns, slides the puck, and beats Martin Jones.
Jonesy.
Yeah, Jonesy was pulled from that game.
Second time this series has been pulled?
Yeah.
Thanks. I don't know what to say about Tampa. I'm still in shock, but Noodles is coming by.
That's right. Talk about the Jets as they have a big overtime win in St. Louis to even their series 2 apiece. Okay, it's the Jay and Dan podcast. You know what?
What?
I was cleaning up my basement on Tuesday.
Go
I
on.
had this on.
Yeah?
Great to clean up to.
How did we sound?
I have like a dungeon-like basement. Great acoustics.
Okay, I'll take it. This is the worst play of the day, Cole Calhoun. I've got it. I don't have it. Looks like a young Danny Bonaducci.
Number 6 of the year.
Isaac Galloway, fly ball to right.
Their first 3 hitters all had their helmets on and they were all taking swings.
Isaac Galloway. What team does he play for? Oh, he plays for Miami. There he is.
Oh, yeah, Miami has new uniforms. I forgot.
Yeah, Derek Jeter designed them.
Jeter's done a nice job in Miami. I messed up. During the top 10, I meant to say that the Redskins went on to win after that Kirk Cousins kneel instead of spiking the ball. Brain cramp from our top 10 brain cramps. I said the Eagles went on to win. It was the Redskins who went on to win. But that's all we messed up. Actually, last couple of days, they've been pretty good. Better than we normally are.
And I blew it. At home when I was cleaning my basement, I had the old wet dry vac out. I got a lot of dust, and it just was pouring out the other side, all the dust. It was like going into the vacuum and going out the other side. So I blew it. I didn't have a mask on, so I might have caused some damage.
Did you buy the vacuum in an alley? Street corner?
I'm sure
New vacuum time?
it all works out in the end.